We'll go back to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, where Indiana continued their complete annihilation of anybody in their path. Their most recent victim, the Oregon Ducks, final score 56-22, as we just saw in the highlight, Sig holding the trophy high above his head. We'll break down some of Fernando Mendoza's performance in just a bit, guys, in the film room, Maddie. But his story, his season is historic. In Indiana, really their first matchup against Oregon, they went from chasing history to writing it. And Fernando Mendoza has written an incredible story for himself. Did he cement himself as the #1 pick in the NFL draft to you today?
Yeah, in my opinion, he absolutely has. And this is something that, you guys have heard me even leading up to our show every single week. I'm just like, this dude's impressive. He's doing some things that go very overlooked, his performances. And these are very difficult throws. And that's where you see like opposite hash, aggressive throws to the opposite sideline. No big deal. Very underrated as an athlete as well.
Yeah.
Huge conversion here, right, on third down to extend the drive, led into another touchdown. The accuracy down the field is different. His ability to be strong in the pocket is a huge asset, especially for anyone that's looking to play and has aspirations in the NFL to play at a high level. This guy has it. The processing is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, there's no box that this guy doesn't check. I mean, it really isn't. It just depends on whether or not you like the dude because, hey, he's
different.
He's a little different, as far as that goes. But I love it. And, man, if I'm an NFL coach, just can't get him on campus fast enough.
He's authentic, right?
He really is.
Genuine.
He's authentically himself, and he's talented as hell.
Yeah, and that's what people appreciate. You appreciate somebody who comes with a certain level of authenticity.
Right.
And that's what Fernando Mendoza has. And each and every single time we've seen him play, he's come out and thrown multiple touchdowns. I mean, 3 times this season, he's thrown for 5 touchdowns in a game. And he's doing it efficiently, 17 for 20, 5 touchdowns in this game. But one thing you have to remember about this team is it is a running team. It is a physical football team. They had 40 rushing attempts today versus their 20 passing attempts. So you look over to what they've done throughout the whole season.
Yeah.
Well, they've ran the ball 574 times versus their 359 passing attempts. I say all that to say this, that this is a football team that starts in the trenches and then works its way out. And when they need to get the ball down the field, they have a quarterback who can make every single throw.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That is silly. 37 passing touchdowns, no picks there. I
mean, he's got 72% completion percentage on the season. In the college football playoff, it's probably closer to 80% with how well. 11 of 14 on third down. I mean, I love this. This is awesome.
Good Parks and Rec.
But, it is phenomenal, this young man's performance. And, again, it does go back to just the between-the-ears stuff, right? Because the physical stuff is there. But his ability to just dissect what the defense is doing, the answer that he has immediately, as soon as the snap happens, he's throwing the football with conviction. It is obvious. This is Mel Kiper's. You guys have heard me the past few weeks. This list is wrong. Mendoza is one and by a landslide. I think tonight we learned, and to me, these past few weeks, Dante Moore, there's no doubt that he's a first-round quarterback. He's just not a first-round quarterback this year in my eyes. I mean, he is, and he can get drafted in the top 10, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
But I don't think that he is prepared in a certain sense to take that next leap. I would like him to stay in college, get some more repetitions, develop more physically a little bit, let the team be kind of on his shoulders going forward. He's going to learn so much from this season. I have no doubt the dude can be a superstar at the NFL level. I just don't know if moving to the NFL next year is the right move for him.
Yeah, Chief, Scala, Rex, Renegade, whatever your name is in the YouTube chat. It's a long name, but I just want to be able to call you out because you did say Dante Moore needs another year, and Matt and I talked about this.
Yeah.
It just looked like he never got a chance to fully settle into the game.
Right.
When your first pass is a pick 6 going the other way, it is tough to recover from that. I do respect him for being able to respond by having them drive down the field later on. But this right here, a pass to the outside on an out route, you got to be able to, you can't throw it inside because that does result in a pick 6. But then I'm a vibes guy, and when the vibes are bad, bad things happen. And that's what continued to happen with Dante Moore, as our guy Metzger, our director, gives a round of applause to me there for that take. But for Dante Moore, it was clear and evident that facing this level of competition was something that he was yet to be able to process. And throughout the game, he was trying to catch up. I think the game was going a little bit too fast. Then he would catch up, then it would go too fast, and mistake after mistake. 21 points off of turnovers for Indiana, and they just could not recover.
Look, you're never going to convince me that losing your coordinators to another team isn't going to affect your performance on the field. Now,
Right.
Are they a Will Stein staying away from winning this game? No, absolutely not.
No.
But when you look at both Ole Miss and you look at Oregon, their minds are in other places. So you're not ever going to convince me that it doesn't at least play somewhat of a role in these games. But obviously,
it's a good point, though, because Indiana doesn't have that issue, right? Indiana, all their coaches are staying. They're focused.
Yep.
It's one mind, one goal, one focus for them. It's clear and obvious what they're doing. Yeah, for the other teams, there's a little bit of a question mark. But now it's interesting, too. You know, we have Miami on the other side in the national championship. Same thing, right? Solidified coaching staff, no issues or distractions whatsoever. And it's not surprising either that the two teams that match an NFL style of play, Indiana and Miami, are facing off each other against the national championship. For Oregon, it's a great season. I thought that they were a year away from being a national contender just because they're a younger football team. That was something that we all three talked about multiple times as we were watching the football game. There was the veteran team, the older team of Indiana, and then there was the young team of Oregon.
Exactly.
And this was a good learning lesson, I think, for Oregon again. Now, it is hard to kind of take your lumps as you're learning, especially because of how rough it was against Ohio State last year. And again this year, a very similar feeling. So definitely something that Dan Lanning has to think about going into the season for next year.
And real quick, too, about this guy, because Curt Cignetti has, again, talk about history, you talk about the history of Indiana football as a program, the losingest program in the history of the sport.
Yeah.
He comes in and completely flips the script and turns it on its head.
Yeah.
And not only is Indiana one of the best stories in college football this year, they're one of the best stories in sports, period.
It is. And this is why Cignetti makes the move of Lane Kiffin a joke. Right?
So
this is what it is.
Yep.
He is the fact of, like, you don't have to go to a specific logo or brand and build something there. You could just do it anywhere now.
Exactly.
And this is what Cignetti's doing. Now Mark Cuban's at games, right?
Forget about
he
it.
wasn't there before.
Yeah.
But Cignetti's basically been on Shark Tank the whole season saying, hey, bro, look at this new thing that I made. And, yeah, you got to start investing in it.
And this is a great job by our crew, because I was going to bring up that point. Indiana has just 8 4-stars. Oregon has 55 4 or 5 stars on their roster. But yes, as you just brought up briefly, Matt, the difference is the age of players, right? Indiana is one of the oldest teams in college football. And I think Curt Cignetti is showing us a little bit of the formula, the secret recipe to his success of getting mature, older players that
fit their system.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
And that are disciplined and can be coached up. They're not trying to party. They have their priorities set straight. So I think that is definitely a huge thing when you look at how this Indiana program is built. And you got to remember, just a couple of years ago, 3 wins, 9 losses for this Indiana team.
Right.
And now they have turned it over. And I agree with you, Sam. This is one of the best sports stories. And I will say this is the best coaching job that we have ever seen in college football, with the turnaround that Curt Cignetti has brought to this Indiana program. Because on his way to a national title, he took down Alabama, right? Beat them down to the floor. Oregon, he beat them down as well. Probably the worst. This is the worst loss that we have seen in the Peach Bowl since, guess when? LSU.
Oh, wow. Okay.
LSU, when they whooped on Oklahoma. Same thing. And that's that 2019 LSU team.
And this
Joe
is
Burrow.
awesome. This is new school versus old school, right? I mean, the new school, of course, is Indiana. The old school is like, hey, I grew up watching Miami and the U and how good they were. And also Cignetti, right? Last point here on this. He's letting everybody know that how we evaluate high school football players, there's clearly a problem there.
Yeah.
Indiana has arrived.